Good morning, live from the bird sanctuary. This morning I want to tell you about the birds and the bees. I don't know if in the background you can hear all the birds singing. The idea came to me this morning. I've had the pleasure this autumn and this spring to observe the beauty of nature in Turin. And I think there's a lot of analogies about the birds and the bees and our own lives. In the autumn, the leaves on all the trees fall. The trees look barren, naked. And the first analogy I thought, okay, we're the trees, but in the winter time we can be dormant like many years of our lives. We survive, we get on that way. One quick one is there, ivy likes to grow around trees. Ivy can be a lot of negativity, so it's always good to strip that away. So you strip the ivy away, got rid of the bad habits, the things that choke you, the parasites in our lives. We're standing there naked in the world, in a tree, surviving the winter. Surviving. Then along comes the sunshine, the heat. For some reason we start to wake up, opportunity arrives. We're warmed by the sun. The tree starts to dig deep and look for reserves of water. It starts to grow. It starts to change, life comes along. It starts to produce little leaves, and the first thing the plants all produce is flowers. So why do they always produce flowers? Well, they produce flowers so that they can attract the bees and the insects. Why do you attract the bees and the insects? So they can come along and pollinate those flowers so they can produce fruit. So we're the tree, we want to produce, to grow, so we want to produce some flowers. How are we producing flowers? By doing things, like I noticed a post earlier on this morning on mentors. When we start to do things, we start to attract things, and those things come into our life. And by the flowers attracting the bees, us doing things, we're attracting other people, other things into our lives. And by attracting those people into our lives, we're helping to pollinate our flowers, to develop our tree, our lives, so that in time we'll be able to produce the fruit, because that's what the trees and the flowers want to produce. I'm surrounded by trees of all types of fruit here. They're advertising their flowers to the thousands of bees, saying, please come and pollinate because we want to produce fruit. So by us doing things, taking action, advertising ourselves by whatever we do, we will attract people into our lives, and those people will help us to produce fruit. Some simple things. I'll give you an example. At the start of this lockdown sessions, I started DJing every Saturday. I went on Facebook Live. It was for the family and friends. And 5-6 weeks later, an old friend from Coleraine, Northern Ireland, reached out and sent me a video of her kids dancing around the garden, loving the music. She texted me this morning saying, am I doing it again today? Like, I do it once a week, Saturday. But I was able to say, there's 5 other recordings on Facebook, go and have a look. So, unknowns to myself, I attracted her. My music was able to give joy to herself and her family during lockdown, and they were dancing around the garden. To me, music is life. I do love music. And it lifts the heart of everybody. So whether it's in simple things like that, or setting goals, one of the goals I had set at the start of the year, obviously the kids helped set it with me, was we need a swimming pool. Because if we're not able to go on holiday this summer, we're stuck where we are. Of course I wrote it down. I looked around the local centres. Let's get a swimming pool. Coronavirus comes, all the shops are shut down. meeting people, chatting to some of the neighbours, of course keeping distancing because there's not many neighbours where we live. A man was talking to Tamara, the wife. I have a swimming pool there. I was thinking of getting rid of it because I want to get a new one. Would you like to have it? No problem, we'll take it. €1,000 worth of a swimming pool for free. You know, small things, making connections, meeting people, advertising, waking up, going for walks, connecting, mentors, other social media, whatever you do, phone calls. Reach out and connect with people. Attract those bees into your life and we'll start to produce fruit. The birds now. So after the bees have come, trees working away, getting watered, nurtured, sunshine, produce fruit. Who comes along? But the birdies, they want to eat that juicy fruit. Birds eat the fruit, eat the seeds, fly off, drop the seeds. New tree, new flower, new plant grows somewhere else. So the birds are those people who come into our lives. They benefit from the fruit that we produce in our lives, and they can take a little bit of that away and use it themselves to plant their tree, to plant their plants, their vegetables, their flowers. And together, by reaching out and connecting with people, we can help them to develop themselves so that they continue with their regrowth of their tree. But to survive, we need to keep getting rid of the ivy, because I see the ivy growing around the trees already. So folks, there's an analogy of the birds and the bees that maybe isn't what you thought, but very simple, but effective, and it works. I hope you have a blessed day.